I agree here. The proof of work tends towards one. You only need one, right? You only need one anchor into economic or energetic reality.
And proof of stake trends towards spreadsheets.
And proof of stake tends towards spreadsheets. Okay, but proof of work too, I think this is important. It's the only known way to give us high assurance of integrity of the money supply, right? That's what gold was, and that's what Bitcoin is effectively. That there has to be a cost associated with the production of money to give producers skin in the game so that you don't end up with the opposite situation like we have in the world today with central banks. They have basically zero cost to produce and therefore run wild on the counterfeiting side. So we tend toward one proof of work chain because proof of work is the only way to ensure sound money. That all makes sense. That then means other networks like Ethereum and all the others are forced to adopt alternative consensus mechanisms at some point, or at least feign to be doing so, to remain relevant in the eyes of the market. What are they trying to do
keep
there?
The pump going?
To keep the pump going.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Keeping the pump going by moving the goalpost.
Yeah. You have to have a new narrative every 6 to 12 months and new promises of how it's going to get fixed. And, or in the, if you're looking beyond Ethereum, which is where like most of the money is made at this point, because you can take something from 0 to like, 5 billion and clip $1 billion of that if you're one of the early VCs or something like that. That's just what they're looking at is like, what can I market? What's the winning formula that these dumb money funds in the retail alongside of them are going to buy? Which PhDs can I sort of pay off to put their names on the paper? Who sounds good enough and has the personality to sort of like fight for this thing, and who would make a good cult figure, and they just like compete. It's like, Hoskinson and Richard Hart and Vitalik and Amin from Avalanche and, Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple and Mashinsky from Celsius Token. And like, they basically they end up with these weird battle armies, like the Link Marines for Sergey. They all think the dude is Satoshi. Like, I mean, they end up with these weird cults of personality around these founders because they end up with this like massive army of devotees who are really just like bag holders for this weird cult. But it's like a money cult.
Yeah.
And, and you see it because like you go after these people, and like, if you're in media, your comment threads will just be destroyed. Your DMs will be full. They just DDoS your time. If you're a founder and you go after them, they're going to go and hit your like, Trustpilot and just score your company 1 star, or destroy your app ratings in the Apple Store. If you're a public company CEO and you come after shitcoins, like they're going to go call all the crypto funds are going to call all their buddies at your funding sources and at the funds that own your stock. So you can't say what you mean. Like almost nobody can really actually say the truth about these things, and the only way that I can so far is because we've deliberately taken like absolutely no crypto funds or VCs with crypto investments at Swan at all. And Jan and I already did the 10x voting thing. So like nobody can ever alter the path of Swan. So we've been very deliberate about that. Like, there are other companies that have all kinds of conflicts on their cap table and taken money from the same backers as, like you take money from Polychain, like that's who backed Luna, right? That's who started Luna. Like that's going to be difficult to sort of chart your own path forever.
Right. I like this framing, money cults, because I've every culture is a cult, to some extent, at least. It's kind of the way we organize ourselves to some extent. We have leaders and then we have people that follow. Do you think inside of these money cults that the leaders are in the know? They know they're peddling scams. And I'm clearly not going to hold you to this just from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But a lot of the bag holders or the members of the cults they genuinely believe the false narrative.
You're asking if the the bag holders believe the false narrative.
So we'll take
What I'm
one
saying
of
is they don't care. They don't care actually because they're fighting for their team. They like are actually trying. So they could even, they play the role just like an analyst that's trying to present his position and is, you know, trying to short the heck out of, you know, a penny stock, and he's putting
Mhm.
out hit piece decks and sending it to all his friends. Like, it's not objective journalism.
Mhm.
That analyst is putting out a hit piece deck, right? They're trying to present all the worst things about the company.
Mhm.
Similarly, there's no incentive for a bag holder of, you know, Hex or Link or whatever, or Cardano, to be objective about it.
Mhm.
Their incentive is just to be wildly positive and say that they're like, this is the best guy. Oh my God. Like Alex is like, Jesus, you guys are wrong for attacking him. He's so good.
Oh, okay.
But that's why Bitcoin is awesome, because there's no fucking leader.
So my question is this, and I'm going to pick on the Hexicans because I just think that name is ridiculous. If Hexicans believe in the Hex token or Hex project,
Yeah.
clearly they don't have an incentive to say anything bad about it, to put out these hit pieces and pump it and all that. But they do have an incentive to engage in critical thinking and realize Hex is, you know, has a lot of problems, and they could just sell all their Hex tokens and go buy Bitcoin or whatever more desirous asset they choose. So does that not imply then that they have drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and they actually believe whatever narrative's being spun up?
There are different crypto scams for different levels of intellect.
Okay.
So Ethereum is for the people that like think they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
And Hex is for the people that just like are very easy to put into a filter bubble, and they're the types of people that like, you know, love their leader to be super rich, and they just kind of want to like, you know, cheer on somebody that they can like kind of look up to. So they don't mind. It's entertainment to them to make Richard Hart rich.
Wow.
Basically. And they just think it's like part of the fun, you know, like,
wow.
I don't know. It's kind of like watching Kardashians or something. Like you know that you're little by little, by buying the mobile game that has like a $17 a month subscription for like dressing the Kardashians in the morning, you know, you're just making them more rich, and that's why they look like that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the marketing, you know. I mean, there's some of this with politicians a lot of times too. Like, you get billionaire politicians and they flaunt their wealth, and, you know, kind of that's their thing. It's like, I'm so rich, I'm so powerful, I have all this badass shit. And that signpost is like, if you get on my team, at least you'll kind of get to feel like you're part of that.
Right. Okay. So now this is something Jeff Booth talks a lot about, that he thinks all of our actions come out of a desire or pursuit for love and belonging. So I mean, these money cults are preying on certain demographics, that they're recruiting people they think would be a good fit to.
I mean, Hex is advertised by direct mail all over the place, all over the UK in particular. So they advertise on buses. Yeah. They sent direct mail to every address in the Ledger hack.
Wow.
I mean, this guy literally was like, he was known as the spam king before he got into crypto. Yeah. So
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So he understands direct response. And so when you're talking direct response, means like marketing directly to the end customer. Like, he doesn't need to do media and podcasts other than his own, because he's just trying to get people into his filter bubble, and they never talk to, they don't watch your show.
Right.
They don't see my tweets.